An operating agreement is an agreement among LLC members governing the LLC's business and members' financial and managerial rights and duties. In your operating agreement, you and your co-owners establish each owner's percentage of ownership in the LLC, your share of profits or losses, your rights and responsibilities, and what will happen to the business if one of you leaves. An operating agreement is similar to a partnership agreement in a partnership or bylaws of a corporation. If your LLC only has one owner, an operating agreement is a declaration of the structure that the member has chosen for the company, and sometimes it's used to prove in court that the LLC structure is separate from the individual owner, and so it's necessary that the owner has documentation to prove that he or she is actually separate from the LLC itself. While many states do not legally require your LLC to have an operating agreement, it's foolish to run an LLC without one, even if you're the sole owner of your company. An operating agreement will help you guard your limited liability status, help clarify financial and management misunderstandings, and make sure your business is governed by your own rules, not default rules created by your state. Also, an operating agreement is highly recommended, especially for multi-member LLCs, because it structures your LLC's finances and organization and provides rules and regulations for smooth operation. The operating agreement usually includes percentage of interests, allocation of profits and losses, members' rights and responsibilities, and other important provisions. Operating agreements can also be changed at any time by the LLC members. Although most states' LLC laws don't require a written operating agreement, you shouldn't consider starting a business without one. Here's why an operating agreement is necessary. First, the main reason to make an operating agreement is to help ensure that courts will respect your limited personal liability. It helps ensure that courts will respect your personal liability protection by showing that you have been diligent about organizing your LLC as a legitimate business. Second, it sets out rules that governs how profits will be split up, how major business decisions will be made, and the procedures for handling the addition and leaving of members. Third, it helps to avoid misunderstandings among the members over finances and management. And lastly, it allows you to create your own operating rules rather than being governed by the default rules in your state's LLC laws, which might not be to your benefit. There's a lot of issues that should be included in your operating agreement, some of which depend on your business's particular situation and needs. However, most operating agreements, including the one I provided the course as a sample, include the following: the member's percentage interest in the LLC, the member's rights and responsibilities, the member's voting powers, how profits and losses will be allocated, how the LLC will be managed, rules for holding meetings and taking votes and buyouts or buy-sell provisions, which determine what happens when a member wants to sell his or her interest or dies. While these items may seem fairly straightforward, each require you to make some important decisions, which you should spell out in your operating agreement. Operating agreements do not get filed with the Secretary of State, but rather they are for your own files and reference. So make sure to keep these in a safe place for your own record. Once you created your limited liability company, you can use an LLC operating agreement to define your organization's operating terms and help protect your legal rights and responsibilities. With a written record outlining your company's management policies and procedures, you'll be ready to get down to business. You'll need help beyond this course to make your own operating agreement. There's a couple of ways to go about creating your operating agreement. Your first option is to use the sample LLC operating agreement I attached to this course. I attached it as a resource to this lecture, so make sure you click on the resources and download a copy for yourself. However, Keep in mind that you need to make sure to have your operating agreement suited to fit the needs of your business and the laws of your state. So if you know what you're doing, feel free to use the sample. If not, you can use any of the other options we'll talk about now. Your second option is to use online resources such as LegalZoom or other online sources to help you tailor an operating agreement that fits your needs. While LegalZoom is cost effective, I wouldn't really recommend it because you can pretty much get the same thing from the sample I provided in this course. Your last option is to have a business lawyer tailor a specifically made operating agreement that fits the needs of your business. This is the best option and your best way to guarantee that you're making the correct operating agreement for your business. In summary, you don't have to follow your operating agreement with the state, but that doesn't mean you can get by without one. The operating agreement is a crucial document because it sets out the LLC's members' rights and responsibilities, the percentage interest in the business, and their share of the profits. I know the operating agreement step of forming an LLC is probably the most complicated part of creating an LLC. So if you have any further questions, I encourage you to post it on the course discussion board, and I'll be sure to answer it as soon as possible.